So I'm going to prime my face using the NYX Honey Do Me Up primer. This is pretty much my favorite primer, and my foundations perform the best when I use this one, so apparently I have no normal headbands anymore, so I'm throwing it back to the 90s and using some butterfly hair clips. If they'll stay with my crazy thick hair. And then after my primer, I just added some of this Physicians Formula Conceal RX green concealer, because I have a lot of redness on my nose right now because I have like a pimple, and I had some redness down here and a couple other spots, so I just wanted to make sure everything was more of a similar color before I start. Also, I'm drinking a Keurig Tazo, is that how you say it? Iced passion tea. So for foundation, I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus in Soft Ivory. I've never tried this before, but I've heard good things about it. I have a foundation brush and also my beauty blender. And hopefully this is a good match for me. For once I wasn't, at least I think, I wasn't the lightest shade. So I have no idea how much of this I should use. Ooh, that's way too much on my nose. This smells literally like paint. Like if you painted the walls of your house, it smells like that kind of paint. Kind of worries me. So I'm going to try with a foundation brush first. This is an It Brushes for Ulta. I'm not sure if it has an actual name. It came in a set with a case. I don't think I've heard anyone mention this smelling so disgusting. Gonna need a little more on the forehead. Like, wow, I've never had a foundation that smelled that, like, strongly. So the claims with this foundation are that if you take flash photos, it's supposed to prevent flashback. So that's this half with a light coat and a foundation brush. So let's try the other half with my beauty blender and see which I like more. It is a very thin formula. Like if I put a big glob on the back of my hand, it would definitely run down, as opposed to just staying. I did think they had a good selection of colors for light skin. Like, there are ones that were clearly tinted pink, tinted yellow. And like I said, I didn't have to choose the lightest. I was like a few shades in, so if you're very pale, this is possibly a really good foundation for you. So this side was with a brush and this side was with a beauty blender. I'm just gonna go in with the beauty blender on this side. I was gonna say I think I like the beauty blender more, but I can't tell if it's like breaking up weird or something or what's going on. I'm gonna see if I can build it up at all. Because I'm not liking how light coverage this is. Is this cute? Good look. I want to say I like it applied more with a sponge, but I'm still not entirely sure. Seems like a dry foundation, which kind of has me worried. My skin's been pretty dry lately, so I don't want it to accentuate any dryness. And as usual, it's not sitting well on my nose. So yeah, this is a very light coverage foundation. These butterflies are not working. Because clearly they're for adults, you know. There. So I don't want to build up too much because I think it's just going to look cakey. So far, not so impressed. But we have more things to try, so just going to keep moving along. Next I'm going to cover up my terrible dark circles. This is the NYX Dark Circle Concealer in Fair. If you hear any weird noises, it's really windy and the house is like creaking. So I normally just use my finger to apply whatever dark circle concealer I'm using. So far, this is my favorite drugstore version. I usually like to use the It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye, but this one is a pretty close match. Alright, next I'm going to attempt to cover up some more of this redness. So I have a really old Physicians Formula green concealer stick. This one's disgusting. I'm trying to use as much as I can of it before I finally throw it away, but I've had it way too long. I already have a backup, but I have this much left of it, so I'm trying not to throw it away yet. And then to cover up some of my hyperpigmentation, also the redness, I always go over the redness with the green and the yellow. However, this one is, I believe, CoverGirl's yellow concealer stick. But it just helps to cover up redness if you go in with a green and then top it with a yellow, at least for my skin tone. And this hyperpigmentation is always super stubborn over on that cheek. I just want it to go away. Alright, and then next up I have the Physicians Formula. Lots of Physicians Formula today. But it's the Insta Ready Full Coverage Concealer. And I was super interested in trying this for my dark circles. And it does come with a little sponge, but I generally don't apply my under eye concealer with a sponge, so it comes with this little one. It has a little slanted tip there, but feels like an okay sponge. I don't think I'm going to be trying that, but we'll see. So I have mine in the shade Fair, and the cap just pulls off and it has a little pump like that. So it's not coming out. There it goes. Okay. Wow, I went from not enough to probably way too much. So I'm just going to put this on the back of my hand so I don't have way too much, and I hope this isn't too dark, because it looks pretty dark compared to my foundation. So again, for my under eye, I always tap with my finger. Making my cute mouth hanging open face because I'm concentrating on my eye area. This was pretty runny compared to what I'm used to. Again, I use another IT Cosmetics product. So I use the Bye Bye Under Eye color corrector, and then I also use the regular Bye Bye Under Eye concealer. Just putting an extra layer of this on. But the concealer's not doing a terrible job. Ooh, what happened here? And I did the same thing on this side. Today has not been working out in my favor, so I still have a ton of concealer. I'm just gonna use this on my other issues. I'm obsessed with that song, by the way, Issues by, is it Julia Michaels? Every time it comes on, I end up singing it. Is this blending in, or do I look ridiculous with all different colors? On my forehead, it's looking a bit ridiculous. Yeah, that's definitely darker than the foundation, which stinks. And I look extra super weird because that concealer has a pretty luminous finish and the foundation is super dry. So I do not recommend this, but I am just going to try to help my face out and just dab some of this concealer, because I also hate wasting things, if you don't know that about me. So I'm just going to use this as a little bit of foundation, and I'm definitely going to have to blend that into my neck. So again, this is not normally something that I would do, however, I don't want to look ridiculous with a bunch of different shades all over my face that don't match. It would be fine if like the foundation was darker and the concealer was the lighter one, but when it's the other way around, it's not exactly doing what it's supposed to. And my sponge totally smells like that foundation paint smell. So I'm gonna have to wash this. Alright. So that looks a bit better. There's one thing in this video that I'm cheating with, and that is my under eye setting powder, because I have found my holy grail under eye powder, and that is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. And so far I have not found a drugstore dupe for this. Normally I set my face with a powder foundation, but it is transferring. I'm not sure if I want to or not. I'm gonna try the Maybelline Set and Smooth. I have mine in the shade 125 Nude Beige. Just gonna see if maybe this won't be as tacky. This is a Target powder brush. I got this in a set with some other brushes. And the Set and Smooth is not luminous, but it's more of a natural looking powder as opposed to the Matte and Poreless by Maybelline. So hopefully this one works okay. Next up I have the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. This I use pretty much every day, so this is totally normal for me. Another Target brush from the same set. Most people don't use a brush like this for their bronzer, but you do you. What is going on with my hair today? If you haven't tried this bronzer, why? Why haven't you? It smells amazing. It looks good. They do have two shades. There's one that's slightly darker, and then I have the lighter one, which is called Light Bronzer. And then I have super big powder brush. It's from Royal and Langnickel, and it's powder BMD-100. I don't know. I just use this to try to make my neck match, because my neck did not get super tan last summer. And I don't want to look like I have an orange face. And now I have the Wet n Wild Megaglo highlighting powder in Precious Petals. I don't want to put too much of this on. I'm kind of scared because I don't know how pigmented it is, so I'm just going in lightly. And this brush is from Luxie. It's the 522 tapered highlighter. Can you even see that? I don't think so. Can you hear Cooper being a brat in the background? He's downstairs whining at who knows what, probably a bird that he saw outside, and he's mad that he can't go chase it. So I can't really see that highlight in here, but if I look in the sun, it's like super glittery. Yep, that's a word. It's super glittery, so hopefully it doesn't look crazy. And then I couldn't decide which blush, dropped it, which blush I wanted to use. If you want some options, if you're just getting into makeup, I had the, again, Physicians Formula Physicians Formula is a really good brand. But I have the Mineral Wear Talc-Free Mineral Airbrushing Blush SPF 30 in the color Natural. It's a light pinky blush. And I also have the Butter Blush in Plum Rose, which if you're darker than me, you'd probably want to avoid the Butter Blush, but it smells just like the bronzer. But the Butter Blush has a very light formula, so it doesn't show up on darker skin tones. I think I'm going to go with the pinky one today, and that's the color Natural. And I have too much on the right side of my face. So next I'm going to go in with a setting slash hydrating mist because my skin has been so dry lately, and if I put on any drying foundation it just looks really cakey and gross throughout the day. I'm not liking how like anything's blending, I'm sorry. So this technically isn't drugstore, but it's really affordable and you can get it at Ulta. This is the Mario Badescu facial spray, and this one is the rose water. There's like a cucumber version and I want to try that one because I'm starting to run low. But I believe this was like $7, so compared to like, I think the NYX one I bought was $6.99, possibly more, so it's very affordable. You get 4 fluid ounces. They make like travel size too, so I highly recommend this one. It's very hydrating. Just gonna let that sink in a little. But the reason I use that is because if you use a powder or any of your powders, like your blush and your highlighter, bronzer, all that, that just helps it sink in and locks it into your foundation. I don't love the smell of the rose one, but it's not terrible. Okay. For eyebrows, I'm going to use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the color Ash Brown. I used to use taupe, but this one's pretty much the darker version of that same color, and it works a lot better with my hair. I'm going to do it off camera to save some time, and I'll be right back. Alright, so brows are all filled in. Next is a new product I've never tried. I'm going to try the Essence Lash and Brow Gel Mascara. So I wanted to try an affordable brow gel because I usually use the Anastasia brow gel, so we'll see how this one is. It says you can use it on your lashes too. I do not intend to do that. I have a feeling this packaging is going to be really disgusting because just from that one use I could see my brow pencil color like all over the brush, and if you keep putting it in, it's gonna dye it kind of brown, and I know that happens with the Anastasia one, but I don't see it because it's in like silver packaging, so I'm a little worried. But it feels fine, it looks fine. Hopefully that will be a cheaper option. I think it was like $2.99. Alright, so next I'm just gonna prime my eyes with the Ulta Tinted Eye Primer in Champagne. You don't have to do this, I just prefer to, because as you can see from the foundation on my eyelid, pretty much everything creases on me. I do have hooded eyes, so it's kind of inevitable. Okay, so my battery died, but all you missed was me putting eyeshadow primer on the other side of my face. So for eyeshadow, I'm using the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells trio. Comes with a teeny tiny brush and an applicator, but I'm going to be using my eyeshadow brushes that I own. You don't have to, you can totally use those other things, but I just prefer this. I have no idea what this brush is. I got it in like my Ipsy bag, but it just says medium shadow. So I'm gonna go in, let me get rid of these tiny things before I drop them. I'm just gonna use that brow bone color, it says brow bone on it, to set the primer. So I'm just gonna pat that all over the eyelid. And bring it up so that it's easy to blend everything. And then next, this is definitely affordable. This is the e.l.f. Blending Eye Brush. I'm running out of hands. Looks like that. And I'm going to take that middle color that says crease and just put that from the outer corner of my eye and blend it up into my crease. So for me, I just take it out slightly past the end of my eye. My battery keeps dying because I tried to charge it a little bit and hoped I could finish this video in time, but I didn't. So, blended my crease. We're gonna use this third one that says eyelid on the inner part of the eyelid. The nice thing about these Wet n Wild trios is that they're very self-explanatory. So if you aren't used to makeup, if you're new to using makeup, just do exactly what it tells you and should turn out totally fine. So I'm just gonna take a look with a mirror closer up, and I like to take shimmery shadows down to the bottom of my lower lash line because I personally just like the way it looks. But yeah, there's the eyeshadow. If you wanted, you could take, this doesn't have a name on it, but it's an e.l.f. smudger brush, and take some of that brown shade and just kind of smudge it on your lower lash line. Cooper's up here checking out all the fun. Also, I'm not going to do this today because I am running out of time, but if you wanted to try out an eyeliner, there are 99-cent Wet n Wild eyeliners. But to wrap this up, I'm going to use the Colossal Big Shot waterproof mascara from Maybelline. I have mine in the color Very Black. I've never used this. I hauled this in my CVS haul. So this is my first impression of this. So fighting with this battery, but this is the completed look. I really like the mascara. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this Get Ready With Me, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and also take a peek below so you can follow me on Instagram as well. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.